This call is now being recorded.
Okay. Today we'll be discussing on respiratory MCQs. Okay. So the agendas I'll be trying to discuss among these topics, that is respiratory failure, acid-base balance, obstructive versus restrictive disease, and pulmonary function test. These are the topics I'll be trying to focus. Okay. Hmm? Okay. The first MCQ is all of the following are types of respiratory failures matched correctly, except which one of these not matched properly.
Type
So
4,
the
sir.
Type 4
which one?
perioperative.
What?
Type
Type 4.
4, type
Yeah,
4
oxygen
perioperative.
not
It was
So
reacting.
the okay. The type 1 is called hypoxic, that is correct. Type 2
Hyperthermic.
hypercapnic. Type 3
Yeah.
atelectasis. In fact, this is this. Okay. Perioperative atelectasis it
Both
is.
are
Type
same, sir.
4 is
Type 3. Yes, sir.
hypo.
Perioperative or atelectasis, both are same.
Yeah, perioperative causing atelectasis. Type 4 is hypoperfusion of
shock.
uh, muscles. Okay. Of respiration. Huh? Secondary to shock. Okay. This is type 4. Okay. Hmm? Same thing is there in the slide. Okay. There are type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4. The one thing in the type 1, the PO2 is low. Okay. But carbon dioxide is not elevated. It may be normal. In fact, sometimes reduced also. Fine. Carbon dioxide is normal. In type 2, the oxygen is less and carbon dioxide is increased. Okay. And type 3, it is a syndrome which occurs second to following perioperative phases. That is fall below the closing. Following this one, general anesthesia, the atelectasis of the lungs will lead to respiratory failure. That is type 3. And type 4 is due to shock. Okay. Uh, Types of respiratory failure, same thing I put it here. So false statement about type 1 respiratory failure is, which is false in this.
So, decrease PaCO2
Decrease
and
PaCO2 and
the normal AA gradient is also
normal
decreased.
gradient.
Okay. In type 1, oxygen is down, PaCO2
Yes,
can be
sir.
normal or down. It may be normal also. Either of them is okay. What about this? Normal.
Normal AA
No,
gradient.
it's not.
It is increased.
It
It will
is
be,
increased.
It is
it will
increased.
be, gradient is increased.
Increased.
Huh?
AA gradient is increased.
Increased. AA gradient is increased.
A gradient is decreased or increased.
Increased,
Increased.
sir.
So what happens is in hypoxia, here the lungs will not be able to take up the oxygen. Although there is a, what you say, uh, what happens in type 1 is the lungs will not be able to absorb the oxygen. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
That's the reason there is a respiratory failure. So the alveolar O2 will be more, but arterial O2 will be less. The gradient will increase because of that.
Increased.
Okay. Huh?
Yes,
Whereas
sir.
in type 2 respiratory failure, what happens is there is a hypoventilation. So alveolar O2 is down there. So the gradient is not increased in type 2. Did it pick it up?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
In type 1, the oxygenation of blood is at fault. That is due to decrease alveolar O2 only. So the
Yes.
gradient is, huh? What is it? The oxygen alveolar O2 is more,
Increased.
but
Alveolar
in
output.
diffusion is at problem. Okay. In type 1, the ventilation is good. If the ventilation is good, the alveoli will contain. If a ventilation is good, alveoli will contain normal O2. But diffusion is problematic here. So arterial O2 will be less. So gradient increases. Got this?
Yes,
Huh?
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Same thing I put it here. The type 1 respiratory failure and type 2 respiratory failure. Type 1 represents the failure of oxygenation. That's what it is. Huh? It is a basically failure of oxygenation. Here it is problem of ventilation. The breathing itself is at a fault. Ventilation is at fault here. So it is characterized by PO2 which is less, POC2 will be normal or decreased in fact. Okay. There could be some amount of hyperventilation. In fact, in type 1, patient may hyperventilate and reduce CO2 levels. Okay. In type 1. That's why you can get both water normal or decreased carbon dioxide. Hmm? Okay. And in type 2, on the other hand, the diffusion is not a big problem there. But the ventilation is at fault. So alveolar VO2 is also down. And the carbon dioxide cannot get out of the body because of hypoventilation. CO2, sorry here, CO2 cannot get out of the body here. So that is the reason you get increased carbon dioxide. So on the same logic, this gradient is increased, whereas this is normal here. Okay, you got
Yes, sir.
this? I'll go to the
Yes, sir.
next. Hmm. Respiratory acidosis is primarily recognized by
Increase in PCO2.
Increase in PCO2.
okay. So the what is the normal pH?
7.35 to 7.45.
Good. 7.35 to 7.45.
7.45.
Okay, if it is less than this, it is acidosis. More than this, it is alkalosis. Okay,
Yes,
got
sir.
this?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
tell me. One thing, the loss in pH, huh? If the pH increases, Hmm? If the pH increases, it can happen because of respiration or metabolic problem. Hmm? I'll put it here. Hold on. Okay, pH, if it increases, it could be metabolic or respiratory. Metabolic means it is a function of SCO3. Respiratory means it is a function of CO2.
CO2.
Okay. So if the bicarbonates go down primarily, huh?
Sir.
Bicarbonate goes down primarily, SCO3 decreases primarily. That is the first change. I mean primarily there is a metabolic acidosis. Okay.
Yes,
If
sir.
CO2 increases primarily, not a compensation I'm telling, primarily, then it is respiratory huh, acidosis. You got this?
Yes, sir.
So bicarbonate down, metabolic acidosis. Okay. CO2 increase, respiratory acidosis. Then, okay, if a bicarbonate huh, increase some reason, increases primarily, then it is metabolic
Alkalosis.
alkalosis. Okay. CO2 decreases, it is respiratory alkalosis. Okay. This is a general law. Okay. Of course, whenever there is a metabolic acidosis, correspondingly compensatory respiratory acidosis happen. Sorry. Whenever there is a so metabolic acidosis is compensated with respiratory what? Alkalosis. This is what happens. Okay. Huh?
Yes, sir.
And vice versa.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, vice versa it is. Okay. Similarly, respiratory acidosis is compensated by metabolic alkalosis.
Alkalosis.
Okay, vice versa. If this happens, this is the response. If this happens, this is the response. Okay. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You got my point. So if there is a
Yes,
metabolic acidosis as a primary event, it is compensated by respiratory what?
alkalosis.
Alkalosis. If the primary issue is respiratory acidosis, it is compensated by
Metabolic alkalosis.
metabolic alkalosis. This law you got it.
Alkalosis.
Now we'll come back.
Yes, sir.
We'll go to the next step. As I said, metabolic acidosis. So how do you get metabolic acidosis? Fall in SCO3.
Foreign bicarbonate.
SCO3. What is the compensated respiratory problem here?
Respiratory
Alkalosis.
acidosis.
So
Okay,
respiratory alkalosis. How to get respiratory alkalosis? By decreasing
PCO2.
PCO2.
huh?
By
CO2.
decreasing
Yeah,
PCO2.
by decreasing CO2. That means if the bicarbonate goes down, carbon dioxide also goes down.
Yes, sir.
Hmm? Okay.
Yes.
Similarly, I'll go to the next step. If there is a metabolic this is alkalosis, na? You get respiratory acidosis as a compensation. So how do you get metabolic alkalosis? By increasing
Increasing HCO2.
SCO3. So respiratory, how should increase that? Increasing
Increasing
CO2.
CO2.
So what does it mean? If the bicarbonate goes down, the carbon dioxide also will go down. If bicarbonate increases, carbon dioxide also increases.
Increases.
Only thing, now you have to look at the pH. Huh? This is the fixed. So bicarbonate goes down, carbon dioxide goes down. If the metabolic bicarbonate goes up, carbon dioxide also goes up. If the pH has increased or pH has decreased, you have to see. If the pH has decreased means it is which? In case pH has decreased, what you'll call? We'll call this.
Acidosis.
The pH has
Acidosis.
decreased. If the
Acidosis.
pH has increased here, you'll call this here.
Alkalosis.
Okay,
Alkalosis.
you got it.
Yes, sir.
So how do I diagnose? Look for the bicarbonate. Look for the bicarbonate and carbon dioxide, and then whether decreased or increased you see, and if they are decreased, then look for pH. If the pH has decreased, then call it as metabolic acidosis. If the pH has increased, you call it as respiratory alkalosis.
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 Similarly, here also same rule. If the pH has decreased, you call it as respiratory acidosis. If the pH has increased, then you call it as metabolic
Metabolic.
alkalosis.
Metabolic alkalosis.
What?
Yes.
You got my point?
Understood,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So look for the bicarbonate, look for the carbon dioxide, look for the pH. If the pH has decreased or increased, then correspondingly you match it. Okay. That's how we see. So this is the case of respiratory acidosis is primarily recognized by how? So to get respiratory acidosis, the carbon dioxide has to
Carbon
increase.
dioxide.
So this is the
Increase.
one. Okay.
Increase
Yes.
PCO2.
That's what. Second choice. Okay. This was a change. It is metabolic
Metabolic
Acidosis.
alkalosis.
acidosis. Okay. This is respiratory. Okay. Respiratory what? Acidosis. Okay. This is nothing nowhere related to acidosis and all that. Okay. I'll go to the next question. So causes of type 1 and type 2 respiratory failure. I could have put this slide before only. Now it has come. Okay. What are the causes of type 1 respiratory failure?
Alveolar diseases.
Okay.
Pneumonia.
Type 1 respiratory failure, the basic mechanism, as I said, there is a transfer of oxygen problem here. Transfer of O2 problem here. It is actual breathing problem here.
Ventilation.
Decrease the ventilation here. Okay. It
Yes,
is
sir.
more like a mechanical.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is like a chemical. Simple to remember is this is More like a chemical engineering. This is mechanical. Okay. You got my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, okay. This is type 1 respiratory failure. There is a problem of transfer of oxygen, I said. The parenchymal disease, the VQ mismatch, and there are two types of type 1 respiratory failure. Either due to VQ mismatch or shunts. So, I'll come to the, I'll go on these two now. Okay. Come here. What is VQ mismatch? What is VQ mismatch? Occurs ventilation, huh?
Yes.
Ventilation, perfusion, coefficient it is called actually. Perfusion, huh? Perfusion mismatch it is actually. Okay. See the lungs. These are the lungs. Sorry, I'll draw a lung like this. Okay. Lungs have a blood supply. Fine. They have a blood supply. Huh? Okay. These blood supplies should also contain alveoli. Okay. Okay. Alveoli. So the blood flows through the capillaries and the alveoli, you get air that transfers here. Okay. The wherever the blood is there, if there are alveoli, then all that air will get blood to, capillaries to get transfer oxygen. Okay. In case there could be some areas where there is a perfusion, but there is no ventilation there. Okay. So this disturbance is there. If this kind of disturbance is there, then there is no O2 transfer. You could have excess blood supply, no ventilation. You could have excess ventilation, no perfusion. So we get mismatch. Okay. This is called as VQ mismatch. Okay. You will get hold on, yeah. So this mismatch is called as okay. Now I'll come to shunts. Shunts means basically the severe form of only perfusion is there here. Okay, perfusion is there, but all the alveolar sac is filled, filled with fluid or infective material and all that. So now this is leading to the arterial blood, pulmonary arterial blood comes and just goes to the pulmonary veins. So there is no, in fact, no oxygenation. Okay, this is a severe form. In fact, is severe form. So the basic difference between the VQ mismatch and shunts is in this stage, if you give O2, there is an improvement. But in this stage, O2 will not improve. Okay, the whatever amount of oxygen supplementation you give, when this is the problem, you won't get improvement in oxygenation. So that is the basic reason to classify them like this. Okay, if the VQ mismatch is at this stage, if you give oxygen, there's an improvement. Whereas at this stage, there is O2 will not improve. That's the one reason. And what are the causes? Pneumonia, severe, ARDS, emphysema, and right to left shunt. These are intracardiac I'm talking about. Cyanotic heart disease. They also cause shunts. Okay, they can also produce type 1 respiratory failure. So we'll come. Hello,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
you're understanding this? Type 1.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, sir.
Okay. Then we'll go to type 2. Type 2, as I said, it is a mechanical issue. So obstructive lung disease. There is a obstruction to airflow. Okay. So there is a, what happens is the decreased ventilation is there because of that. Apart from lung diseases, other diseases outside of the lung can also cause this, just like meningitis, brain injury, weakness of respiratory muscles. You must have seen Guillain-Barré syndromes and all that, polymyositis, rib cage diseases, kyphoscoliosis. These all things lead to decreased ventilation. Decreased ventilation. Dilation. Thus, type 2 respiratory failure. Any confusion here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now, a patient of salicylic acid poisoning has following blood gas analysis. Okay, its pH is 7.2. So 7.2 pH means what? It is acidosis or alkalosis? Huh?
Acidosis.
Yeah,
Acidosis.
it is
Acidosis.
acidosis. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Huh? Hold on a second. Roshan is trying to join. He's having some problem. Okay, he joined. No issues. Okay. Welcome, Roshan.
So namaste sir. Sorry for late sir.
Okay, no issues. Anyway, it is recording. You can go through.
Okay.
So I was at the fourth question here. So pH of 7.12 is acidosis. Fine.
Acidosis.
Yes.
Yeah. Now there is a acidosis. What is the carbon dioxide here? It is increased or
Sir,
decreased?
decrease
Decrease.
sir.
What is the normal carbon dioxide?
35 to
Sir,
45 mm.
40
Yeah.
35 to
42.
45. 40. Okay.
sir,
Here
several
I put
books
it
are
35 to
sir.
35 to 45. Correct. 35 to 45.
35 to 45.
I confused. Okay. So the carbon dioxide here is 18. Okay. It is definitely decreased. So pH is down. CO2 is also down. Then
Met-
bicarbonate is also
Decrease.
down.
Decrease.
The resulting acid-base abnormality is. So one thing you are sure it is acidosis.
Acidosis.
Okay. Now you have to think it is metabolic acidosis as a primary change or respiratory acidosis. Which one you think?
Sir, metabolic sir.
Metabolic acidosis.
Metabolic.
Yeah, correct. It is
Which
more likely to be metabolic acidosis because decrease in carbon dioxide doesn't cause acidosis, it causes alkalosis primarily if that was the event. Okay.
is yeah.
Now, because this is a pH is matching here, so it is a case of metabolic acidosis. So even this is also there. Okay. Here choice given. I mean. So, but now the what has happened? Carbon dioxide also has got decreased. So that means there is a compensation. So this
Compensation.
is out. Hmm? Hmm?
With the compensatory
So,
respiratory alcohol.
now the choice is among these two. The metabolic acidosis with a compensatory respiratory alkalosis
Respiratory
or
alcohol.
respiratory acidosis. Which one is correct among these two?
Respiratory
Alcohol.
alkalosis.
Yeah, because
Alkalosis.
metabolic acidosis compensates with
Respiratory alkalosis.
Respiratory alcohol.
respiratory respiratory
Hyperventilation.
respiratory
Hyperventilation.
alkalosis.
There's like,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Vice versa. Like that. Of course, pH you have to manage here. Okay. Metabolic acidosis compensates with respiratory alkalosis, and respiratory acidosis compensates with metabolic acidosis. Sorry, respiratory acidosis, metabolic alkalosis. Okay.
Alcohol.
Okay. So, which is the correct answer?
Metabolic
First one,
acidosis. Respiratory
Acidosis with
alcohol.
compensatory respiratory alkalosis.
because respiratory alkalosis. First one, correct answer. You just to memorize these things, you have to know this. The pH of the blood is 7.35 to 45. The PO2 is 75 to 100 mmHg. It can be expressed with percentage also, saturation. Okay. Then the PCO2 is 35 to 45 and bicarbonate is 22 to 26. About some people say 23 to 28. Okay. This is okay. So these values you remember, don't forget them. Sodium, potassium also will come later, but this thing you should remember. The patient with the following, double typing, following parameters. pH is 7.5. What has happened to the pH? Increase or
Alkalosis.
decrease?
Increase.
Alkalosis.
Yeah,
Increase.
increased. Alkalosis, fine. It is alkalosis. Okay. We'll put it as alkalosis. Fine. Now, PCO2 is what? Increased or decreased?
Decrease.
Decrease.
Slightly decreased.
CO2 is decreased. PO2 102 mmHg. Okay, this is not an issue. Bicarbonate, what has happened?
Decreased.
Okay, it is decreased. Which of the following correctly describes the compensatory mechanism is asking. Now, what is the first disease?
Sir,
He is asking for compensatory mechanism. What is the compensation? Now, he is asked now. This is alkalosis. Now, whether first alkalosis is the metabolic or respiratory.
sir, it is metabolic acidosis.
Metabolic, sir.
Yeah, which is, I am asking first primary change. I am not asking the answer of the MCQ now. The primary change is respiratory.
Respiratory
So,
alcohol.
this has compensated with metabolic acidosis.
Yes, sir.
Read the question completely. It has come in the exam. That's why I have put it here. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So, what is the primary change in this case?
Respiratory alcoholism.
Respiratory. It is respiratory alkalosis is a primary. This has compensated by metabolic acidosis. So the question is, what is the compensatory? You have to take this, not respiratory alkalosis. This is a primary change. In fact, this is a primary event. This is compensatory. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Got this?
Yes, sir.
Read the concept because it is they asked here. They'll try to confuse you. Be careful in solving these things. Arterial blood gas analysis of a patient reveals pH of 7.2. What is this? Acidosis or alkalosis?
Acidosis.
Acidosis.
Ideal acidosis. The bicarbonate is 36. What has happened to bicarbonate?
Increased.
Increase.
Increased. It is increased. What is normal acid? 22 to 28.
Yes.
Okay.
6.
Okay. 36 increased only. What about this one? PCO2 60.
It is
Increased.
increased.
Yes, sir.
Increased, sir.
Okay. 60 is increased. The abnormality is, what is the abnormality? You tell me now. So this is acidosis with the increased carbon dioxide. The abnormality is, primary abnormality is respiratory acidosis with what type of compensation expected?
Metabolic alcoholism.
Metabolic acidosis.
Metabolic
Metabolic
alkalosis.
Alkalosis. Okay. This is the disease. Now let us go to the choices now. The respiratory acidosis with compensatory metabolic alkalosis. This looks fine for me. Okay. First, before ticking, check other things also. Then respiratory acidosis has told. May not be complete answer. This is a better answer. There is a compensation because carbon has increased. Okay. The respiratory alkalosis with respiratory alkalosis with compensatory metabolic acidosis. So this is not alkalosis. This is not out. This is
Yes, sir.
respiratory because pH is down. So respiratory acidosis looks. Then with compensatory acidosis. No. Metabolic acidosis compensate with alkalosis. So this is the best answer.
Yes.
The first one is the correct answer. We'll go to the next choice. An ABG analysis shows the pH of 7.2. So it is what?
Acidosis.
Acidosis. Raise PCO2. So, and decrease
Respiratory
CO3. Decrease diagnosis of, what is diagnosis now? Ring, come on. Tell me what is it?
Respiratory
Now,
acidosis.
these things are going in opposite direction. You saw this?
Yes, sir.
I told you CO2 and SCO3 are normal friends. They go together. Although they cause a different problem to the person, but by themselves they never go opposite to each other. Unless the issue is only one. Unless the disease, one disease, huh? So one disease is causing the issue means CO2, SCO3 are friends. Okay, they go together. But this will cause, this alone will cause
Respiratory.
decrease pH. This will cause increased
Yes, sir.
pH. That is different issue. But they never go opposite. But if there are multiple diseases, more than one disease, for example, imagine a patient with respiratory failure. That patient has kidney failure also now. So,
Yes, sir.
a kidney failure patient, what will happen? You tell me. What sort of acidosis expect?
Metabolic acidosis, excretion of
Yeah.
HCO.
No, a patient has got a kidney failure, and respiratory failure both. Patient, for example, dialysis patient not dialyzing properly. Otherwise, I'll put it with I'll go with the COVID only. Imagine a COVID patient. He goes for multi-organ failure, MOP, MOF, multi-organ failure. So he comes with ARDS with you, for you. Okay, ARDS. This will cause what? Respiratory acidosis. Fine. Because of the septicemia, bacteria, all that, he goes for renal failure also. Okay. Now
Yes,
it
sir.
will set a metabolic acidosis. Okay. So these two will be manifesting in ABG. Okay. So this
Yes.
patient has got both respiratory and metabolic acidosis because of that. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It happens clinically. These things happen because there is, you are looking, patients can have multiple diseases because of one disease only. There can be many more complications happening. So these mixed patterns are seen in clinical practice. But if there is no other associated complicated disease, then it will be, as I said, there is a correct compensation. Because of the kidney failure, the biocarotid compensation will not happen because of this. Okay. This could be a classical case of a COVID, going for ARDS, later ending with kidney failure also. There, his ABG will be like this only. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Not only COVID, many diseases are there like that. A patients of, in fact, all morbid patients will have multiple diseases. Okay. So this is a patient of both. Are you confused now?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
I'll
No,
go to
sir.
the next question. 10-year-old boy with a short stature presents with polyuria, polyuria and polydipsia. What do you think a patient presents with the 10-year-old boy with polyuria? I'm purposely going out. I'm trying to make a bigger discussion here. A 10-year old boy with polyuria and polydipsia. Tell me differential diagnosis.
Diabetes.
So, diabetes.
Diabetes.
Type 1. Type 1.
Type 1 diabetes mellitus.
Type 1 diabetes. Okay. These type 1 diabetes patients can present, first presentation will be diabetic. Type 1 after
Diabetes.
telling about type 1 diabetes, DM, their first presentation can be ketoacidosis state. Actually,
Yes,
this
Yes,
sir.
sir.
patient looks like that one. Let me go through forward. Hmm? Okay, we'll go that. Because 10-year-old by polyuria, polydipsia is telling now. Laboratory values reveal pH of 7.4.
Normal.
Normal.
Huh?
Normal.
Yeah, normal it is. pH has not bothered to change much. But what has happened to the bicarbonate? Just look at this.
Decreased.
Reduced.
Decreased, sir.
It is decreased. What about the sodium?
Sodium is
Increase.
normal.
Normal.
Sodium is
Normal, sir.
140. It is
Normal, sir.
normal. Okay. Okay. When pH is 7.4, I really don't bother about this. Okay. Let us look at that last. It looks like there is some amount of reduction, in fact. You can see that?
Yes,
Yes.
What do you
yes, sir.
think it is a reduction here?
Sir.
Why PCO2 is down? It's not normal,
Concentration.
No, sir.
There
Compensating.
could be, I think so, there is some amount of compensation. Patient may be hyper
Ventilating.
ventilating. It is not given. As a clinician, you should pick it up.
See,
So,
it's a
yeah,
compensated case, sir.
yeah, it is a compensation. That's a good compensation, probably in early stage. Okay, if the pH is down, pH is normal with the carbon dioxide down means it is a patient is hyperventilating and trying to correct his metabolic acidosis only actually.
It is a fully compensated, sir. Na?
A fully compensated metabolic acidosis it is. Okay, huh? Because bicarbonate has reduced. Huh? He was tending for acidosis that was compensated by carbon dioxide. pH is back to normal. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
you got this?
Yes,
Huh?
sir.
Yes,
So three parameters now. Okay, we'll come to this. And sodium is 140, potassium is 4.5, and chloride is 112. What is the normal sodium potassium level?
Sir, 135 to 145, sir.
One normal sodium potassium is 135 to 145. Potassium
145.
is
Potassium is
3.5 to
35.
4.5.
3.5 to 5.
Chloride 98 to 106, bicarbonate this much. Okay.
Anion gap, sir, there is.
Yeah, we'll come to that. No, we'll go more detail into the case. So this patient, so pH is normal, sodium is 140, and under cation is another cation. So in this, we'll put it this way: what are cat ions? That is positive charge, and ions negative charge. Here, sodium and potassium are cations. Then what you got? Biocarbonate. Huh? Biocarbonate is what is it? Is a anion and
Yes, sir.
chloride. Okay. Okay. What are the cations?
Sir.
Sodium and
Sodium.
Sodium, potassium.
what? Potassium. Anions, biocarbonate,
bicarbonate and
and
chloride.
Bicarbonate.
chloride. Okay. These are.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is this? Our body serum is electrically neutral. It won't be charged. So there
Yes,
is
sir.
whatever amount of cations are there, the
Is equal to total
corresponding
equal to.
anions has to be there. Okay. In fact, this ion business is manipulation. It is a round trip around among these things only. One of them will adjust with each other. When some extra anion is being pushed into serum, this chloride will actually decrease, and in fact, carbon also may also decrease. Okay, and thus that anion gap, what we call that gap, huh? Huh? You got it? Whenever some acid material, acid is trying to enter the blood, acid has increased means anions are actually increased. Thus, to maintain electrical neutrality, bicarbonate and chloride, both of them increase. This happens with the metabolic acidosis with what? Increased anion gap.
And
Okay. If you get a metabolic acidosis with the increased anion gap, you will have this problem. Okay, I'll come here. So there are in fact metabolic acidosis has got two types now. Increased
Anion gap
or
and normal.
anion gap
Agma and
or
Degma, sir.
And normal.
non-anion gap. Otherwise, got people call it as anion gap acidosis. This one instead of they'll cut this only call it as anion gap and non-anion gap. Okay. I'll write once more for you people. So metabolic acidosis. There are two types. One is an ion gap. Other one is non
non-anionic.
anion gap acidosis. There are two types. Here the anion gap is increased. Here it is normal. Okay, what is the normal anion gap? 16
8 to 16.
plus or
16.
minus
Plus minus
16 plus or minus 4. Okay, that means 11 to 19, something like that. 11 to 20, that is normal anion gap. If it is If this anion gap is falls in between this range, then it is a non-anion gap acidosis.
Normal.
If it is increased, then it is anion gap acidosis. Okay. When this happens, if the extra acid is entering the body, you get this type of acidosis,
Yes, sir.
like diabetic ketoacidosis, or some other case of acidosis. You will get
Lactic
this
acidosis.
anion gap. If there is a non-anion gap acidosis, then this will not be there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now we'll go to this case. May not be that. It may not be a case of decay. Just I want to give you okay, because anion gap appears not increased here. We'll calculate anion gap here. So what is 140 plus potassium 4.9? I'll keep it as take it as 5. Okay. 140 plus 5. It is 145. Fine. Bicarbonate how much?
124.
17 plus chloride is
112.
112. That means 7 plus 2,
129.
8,
129.
129.
129.
Okay, 145 minus 129. Oh, 15 minus 9 is 6.
6.
16.
16, sir.
So it looks normal,
Non-anion.
normal anion gap. So you have got two choices here: normal, non-anion gap, and anion gap acidosis. Your answer has to be this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Other
Yes.
clinically, or if you take whole thing, looks like a diabetic ketoacidosis, which usually produces an ion gap acidosis. These patients, and there is at not these patients may later become when the acid keeps on adding up, then they'll becomes this type of acidosis. Initially, they may be like this. So this is this ABG suggests this answer. Got it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, same thing I put it here. What is anion gap is difference between measured cations and measured anions is in the serum. Some people don't take this potassium for consideration because there is a 4.5 small fraction. They may not take it. Then instead of that 16, you take that value to 11. 16 plus or minus 4, I said. 11 plus or minus 4 it is. Something like that. Okay, yeah, it is written here. See. 16 plus or minus 4 is if you take potassium into consideration in cations. Because some ABGs may not give you value of potassium. So you'll have some difficulty in calculating. So this they will use. So 16 plus or minus 4 is if the potassium is used, or if not used, 12 plus or minus 4. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Because if the potassium goes down, it will go by 1 down. Usually a 2.5 max. 1 or 2 doesn't matter like that. It is neglecting potassium like. If you get potassium value, add and see.
Yes, sir.
No, the causes for anion gap as causes. So anion means here it is increased only. So all this see, methanol poisoning, uremia, diabetic, paraldehyde, isogenazole, lactic acidosis. Where you get lactic acidosis? Which drug?
The
Not diabetic, man. Drug I want.
Metformin.
Metformin. Penformin is a classic answer. Penformin is not available. It was available when I was doing post-graduation. Okay. Penformin. Its analog is metformin. This has got a very less chance. We India, we hardly see this. Sometimes I have seen some patients. Okay. So lactic acidosis can be there. And then ethylene glycol, renal rhabdomyolysis. Rhabdo means the muscle necrosis leading to renal failure, salicylate poisoning, increase anion. Anion gap you see, diarrhea, vomiting, diarrhea, vomiting, especially vomiting. Vomiting causes loss of HCl. Okay, chloride is lost.
Yes, sir.
Not vomiting when I told something like correct. Diarrhea causes non-anion gap acidosis. Okay.
yes.
Non-anion gap acidosis. Renal tubular acidosis. Remember this. You'll take this. There are two types, I believe. Type 1 and type 4. Renal tubular acidosis. They both call non-anion gap acidosis. This can be MCQ. Hyperalimentation. This is because Hyperalimentation also causes non-anion gap acidosis. I believe it is because of albumin. So estrogelamide, renotuberculosis, this one. Spironolactone, all these cause non-anion gap acidosis. Ninth question. Acid-base balance. Acid-base balance of a patient reveals pH of 7.4. I think this is a repetition of the question. Am I correct? You answer
Yes,
it
sir.
anyway. Acid-base balance pH is 7.4. Increased. Now margin increase. Bicarbonate is down. This patient has a partially corrected primary. Oh, now he's asking primary. Which is a primary event here? Of course, question is primary, which is a primary. Then it was compensatory asked there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now pH is 7.4. Carbon dioxide is 30. This is different question, not that. I got them. So there is a normal. Okay, I do agree. Now carbon dioxide has come down. So probably the primary event was SCO3, which was reduced. Fine. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this looks in upper limit of normal.
Sir, alkalosis like
Yeah,
that.
upper limit of normal. You can call it in fact alkalosis only by definition. Okay. So there was a alkalosis. Alkalosis due to respiratory problem only. It looks like. Why not?
Yes, sir.
Hyperventilation, something like that. Okay. So what is the primary disease? Respiratory.
Alkalosis.
That is the answer.
Respiratory.
Be careful. You will do mistake, although you know the concepts. All of the following are obstructive lung disease except
ARDS.
ARDS.
this is all. They're all classically obstructive lung diseases. ARDS is restrictive, you can call. I'll come to that next slide, I think. Yeah. Okay. Before going into this, we'll discuss something about volumes. What is tidal volume? Akash, what is
Sir.
tidal volume? What is tidal volume?
Normal amount of air expelled after
normal breathing. At
Yes,
a
sir.
point of normal breathing, whatever you breathe, that is a
Yes,
tidal
sir.
volume. Okay, routinely we take tidal volume only. This is okay. Now, what is vital capacity? What is total lung capacity? Whole thing. One thing you should know: whatever you try, there is some amount of residual volume. With all full expert, you can never empty your lung.
Yes, sir.
If you whatever you struggle, you cannot. So some amount of volume, blood, I mean air is always there in the lung. That is called residual volume. Okay. What you can do is with full inspiration, full expiration, you will be able to play between this.
Vital capacity.
Okay, this much only. So what you can max in to max out, max inspiration point to max expiration point with forced only. That is called vital capacity. What is vital capacity? A point of maximum inspiration to maximum expiration.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is vital capacity. You ask the patient to take deep breath, okay, and ask him to expire completely as much as you can. That is vital capacity. Okay. So what is total lung capacity is?
Vital capacity plus residual volume.
Residual volume. Okay.
Plus
So,
tidal volume. Yes, sir.
yeah, that is total lung capacity. Then we'll come to during normal breathing. You can inspire further. You can take extra. That is inspiratory reserve volume. After
Yes, sir.
whatever you take normally, above that you can actually take if you want to. That is called inspiratory reserve volume.
3000. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
What is inspiratory capacity? See here. Inspiratory capacity limits
Total
to
volume of air
normal
that is
expiration only.
inspired. Tidal volume plus inspired reserve volume.
Maximum amount of air that can be inhaled after a normal expiration.
Yeah, correct.
Tidal volume plus sir inspiratory
Can
reserve
be
volume.
inhaled after normal expiration. That is inspiratory capacity. What is functional residual capacity, what is left after inspirated capacity is functional among this TLC. You got it? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Below the tidal volume after expiration, whatever that is left is functional reserve capacity, although that's called as FRC. So the inspirated capacity, then vital capacity, residual volume are covered, residual, what is this? Yeah, twice there. Then expirated reserve volume. Okay. So after normal expiration, further what you can expire is expirated reserve volume, similar to inspirated reserve volume. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, these things you should remember. There is something called as FEV1, FEV1, FEV1. So that is starts from here, in the first second, how much hour the patient can forcibly expire. First second
Yes.
of expiration. That is
Yes, sir.
FEV1. Yep, post expiratory volume in first second.
First second.
Okay. Yeah, FE1 is called. It is very important. It's ratio to vital capacity, in fact. I'll come
Yes,
to
sir.
that. Otherwise, people require as FPC by FEV1. This is a very important parameter. I think your next slide is on that. Yeah, it is same thing. So the FEV1, what I said, forced expiratory volume in first second. That is after following full inspiration. Okay, ratio with vital
Vital
capacity.
capacity.
FEVC means functional. That is if that is less than 0.7 of the predicted for that age. That
70%.
is how first thing. So how to approach between obstructive and restrictive lung disease? I think I told you in the before some slide about something about obstructive.
Yes, sir.
Obstructive means the tubes are having problem. Restrictive means as a lung parenchyma is having problem grossly.
No.
I'll come to further. All the classification down it is there. Now you take it this way. You remember it, try to remember like this. Restrictive means there is a problem in the lungs. Here the pipeline problem. The name suggests like that. So obstructive lung diseases, the inspiration in the first is what happens? First second is decreased, but functional vital capacity, because there's a lot of residual volume, residual air get trapped in the lung. So RV actually increases in obstructive lung diseases. The residual volume means this one, got it? This one increases in obstructive lung diseases, whereas expiratory speed comes down because there is a block of tubes. So this ratio decreases. Okay, you're getting my
Yes.
point?
Yes, sir.
So Smriti,
Yes, sir.
you're understanding?
Yes, sir.
This ratio decreases whenever there is a problem of tubes. This is because patient cannot expire with a good speed and there is a trapped air there always inside. So denominator is increasing, numerator is decreasing. Because of that, this ratio actually decreases. Okay, in obstructive lung disease. This is an important parameter. If that is FEV was in this less than this much, then you are coming on this side. If it is not so, you are coming on this side. You are coming on restrictive side. Yeah, you are coming on obstructive side here. Okay, this is obstructive. This is restrictive side. Okay. Now, once you come down, once you come here, if then you look at FVC, that is functional vital capacity. You would have seen it here, but of course, check. If it is again down, then it is again down. What is it? So what I said, functional vital capacity is actually increased in obstructive diseases. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
If functional vital capacity is increased in obstructive diseases.
Obstructive disease.
So if functional vital capacity is less than 80%, then it is some mixed disease. If it is more than 80%, then it is obstructive type. Because FEC is increased. I would have put it in other, if I put this arrow like this, if I remove yes here and no, it will be easy for you. Okay. Okay. Now, this also it is possible to interpret. FVC is like decreased in restrictive diseases, whereas increase in obstructive diseases. Because there is trapping of air. So FVC less than 80%, it is what is it? Less than 80%, it is obstructive. It is going on this side. In fact, it is mixed. If it is more than 80%, it is obstructive diseases. Okay. Now FVC on here also in restrictive side. FVC if less than 80%, less than 80%, what do you think? Restrictive. Restrictive.
Restrictive.
No means not a disease. Patient is having fine now. FV is also is good. This is also good. It's not a disease, cardiac problem, respiratory problem. Okay. This ratio is also good. FV is also normal. Then it's not a disease itself. Fine. So this is a normal lung disease, normal problem. Then you have to confirm with the DLCO. That will come to that in next slide. This one you remember. Look for this ratio. Check for this FVC. So obstructive and restrictive lung diseases. Obstructive lung diseases are like asthma. You know there is a two problem. Okay,
Asthma and
COPD,
COPD.
bronchiectasis, irreversible dilatation of bronchi, bronchiectasis. Cystic fibrosis produces bronchiectasis only again. This produces only. Bronchiolitis also is a obstructive lung disease. Now, in restrictive lung diseases, they are classified into parenchymal and extraparenchymal. That is outside the lung. So, classical restrictive lung diseases are sarcoidosis, pneumoconiosis, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, drugs and radiation. Okay, drugs, radiation cause this one actually. Sarcoidosis, pneumoconiosis, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, drugs are parenchymal lung diseases which can cause restrictive lung diseases. Fine. Now, extraparenchymal means you can see here. This is like type 2 respiratory failure. You can see here. Diaphragmatic palsy, GB syndrome, motor neuron disease, muscular dystrophies. The lung will not expanding, like that. Cervical spine injury, Skypos obesity, ankylosing spondylitis. All this cause restrictive. They all go for more often type 2 respiratory failure. Lastly, is end up with type 1 many times. But they are not very classical. Don't go like that. And just I gave you that some sort of a comparison. Now, what are the pulmonary function results in obstructive pattern and restrictive pattern of the diseases? So, FEV1 is less than 80% in obstructive pattern. That is because tubes are not expiring, tubes are blocked. In restrictive pattern, it is normal or decreased. It could be normal or decreased. Why it is normal means lungs are too much damaged, whatever you can do is not. But at least it is normal or decreased. Well, here it is definitely decreased. FVC may be decreased. Functional vital, well, may be preserved. If put it increased here. Wrong. Okay. Functional vital capacity is may be preserved. This is wrong. This is increased.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Obstructive pattern means this is increased or normal. It is always decreased. Okay. So thus, you remember this name. They'll ask this MCQ. Tiffany Panelli. Tiffany Panelli. Pinelli index. It is same important one. If it will be less here, it is normal or increased in restrictive pattern. Similarly, this is the post expiration during mid expiration. Actually, it is between 21 to 75. That part of a 25th to 75th part of expiration. That time it is less than 50% in obstructive pattern. It may be normal or decreased proportional to the lung. Okay, in this case it definitely decreased, but total lung capacity increased. So this is also increased. Total lung capacity is normal or increased in obstructive pattern. Here it is decreased. Loss of lung volume. So residual volume is increased here, decreased here. Okay. We'll come to some slide part. Something is gone down. Okay. RV by TLC ratio. RV by TLC ratio. What happens? Increased. Huh? Why RV by TLC ratio you get increased here in obstructive pattern? Because residual volume is increased. Okay.
Increased.
Numerator will get increased. Huh? RV is increased more than TLC. Huh? Okay. That is the reason this ratio get increased here. Here it can be normal in intrinsic diseases and increased in musculoskeletal diseases. That's what it's telling. Okay. Intrinsic lung disease, there is no much change in the ratio, but okay, definitely it is increased in obstructive diseases. Basic problem with the obstructive disease, residual volume getting increased and FEV1 is getting decreased.
Reduce.
All are a manifestation of that. This last slide that is partially visible. I'll show it here. Can you see here?
Yes,
This
sir.
part. Are you seeing something? Something it is going out of screen. That's why I came to this note speaker notes review. So you are seeing DLCO. DLCO is what happens to DLCO? It is normal. That is diffusion of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. Huh? Huh? That is normal in obstructive pattern, whereas it is decreased in what? Huh? Decreased in
Restricted.
diseases and other. It is decreased in intrinsic lung disease, whereas musculoskeletal diseases, this diffusion issue is not an issue. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Because in intrinsic parenchyma lung disease, carbon monoxide diffusion can be at a fault. Okay, whereas musculoskeletal diseases do not affect the DLCO. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, come here. May not be visible to you because you'll be seeing in mobile. Okay. So just remember DLCO, that is diffusion of lung carbon monoxide, is normal in obstructive lung diseases, whereas in restrictive diseases, if the restrictive disease is secondary to the lung problem, intrinsic lung disease, then DLCO will be decreased. Whereas the restrictive lung diseases secondary to musculoskeletal problems, DLCO will not be affected. That's what it says. You got it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, abnormal perioperative pulmonary function test in a patient with severe kyphoscoliosis. Yeah, question is based on that one. So, abnormal preoperative pulmonary function test in a patient with severe kyphoscoliosis. What do you expect? Restrictive disease or obstructive disease? Kyphoscoliosis.
Restricted.
Yes, sir.
Restricted.
Obstructive disease.
Kyphoscoliosis, man.
Sorry, restrictive, sir. Restrictive.
So, what about type of
Just
restrictive?
one.
Intrinsic or extrinsic?
Restricted.
Extrinsic.
Restrictive, I'm asking inside restrictive.
Extrinsic, sir.
Extrinsic, the interstitial line. I mean, restrictive diseases. Extrinsic in the sense outside the lung. Okay. Now we'll come to here. So abnormal preoperative. That means before the patient being taken for surgery, some surgeons ask for preoperative lung function test for fitness, surgical fitness. They'll ask it. You should know that. Now increased. So increase RV and TLC. Do you expect residual volume to get increase in kyphoscoliosis, TLC?
No.
No,
No.
sir.
No, it doesn't, because this is a classic of, if it was obstructive disease, this should have got
It is the classical
it would have got increased. Where this is being a restrictive disease, this is not there. Reduced FEV1 and FUC ratio. This is obstructive disease.
Obstructed.
Now reduced 25 to 75. This one. This is also obstructive only. Classically.
Yes, sir. Increased FRC is
Increase functional residual capacity. All of them before only. I did a mistake or something. See here, increase the abnormal preoperative pulmonary tanks in a patient with severe respiratory hyperscoliosis includes which one? This looks better than this. Okay, let me see. Increase RV, yeah, written notes here, see. Increase RV, TLC. The reason I have put it here, it has kyphoscoliosis is a restricted lung disease. Other choices are for obstructive lung disease. Okay. So other choices here, these three are very classical of obstructive lung disease. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got it now. So the whatever this ratio increased RV, this ratio is a function of RV and TLC. Fine. So the TLC will not get increased.
Yes, sir.
TLC will not get increased. RV, the RV may be increased a bit, I believe. I have written here. See, in restricted lung disease, RV TLC is normal. Yeah. In restricted lung disease, RV TLC. Normal in interstitial lung diseases, increase in, yeah. In a patients with restricted lung diseases, the RV TLC ratio will be increased if the problem is extrinsic. Here the slide is saying same only. So where is this? Yeah. See here, RV TLC. We'll come to this slide. Yes. This is here. RV TLC ratio. You can see here.
Yes, sir.
Restrictive. See here. RV TLC is classically increased in obstructive lung diseases. It is normal or increased. In normal, in the case of interstitial lung diseases, whereas musculoskeletal diseases, this RV TLC is increased. You're seeing?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
kyphoscoliosis, RV
Is
TLC
it
ratio is
increased, sir?
Okay. So that's how the answer for this is this.
Okay, sir.
Abnormal for preoperative function test. That means this is the result you will get. So if you test for PFT, lung function test in a kyphoscoliosis patient, this result you will get. Of course, that is abnormal, but this is the abnormal test. Okay. These are all like this because they are classical. So in RV-TLC ratio behaves like obstructive if the restricted disease is extra parenchymal. RV-TLC similar to obstructive if disease is extra parenchymal restrictive. Got it?
Yes, sir.
You just to try to memorize that. Okay. No issues. Okay, now a 28-year-old woman having limited cutaneous scleroderma. Okay, for last 10 years, complaints of shortness of breath for last 10 months. Her pulmonary tests are as follows. So pulmonary function tests are as follows. That is FVC. That is functional vital capacity is 2.63. So what is predicted? 2.82. That means what has happened to this? This has increased, decreased.
Decreased.
This is decreased now. So FEV1 percentage is asked. FE percentage. That means actually the ratio. If they put this ratio percentage like this, it is ratio only. This is what it means. Percentage of functional vital capacity it is. Okay. This percentage here in front of FEV1, if they put percentage, it means what? This. Okay. Got it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, FEV1 ratio means it is a ratio now. It is increased here. Okay, this is increased. Whereas predicted is 80. Because of that, it is increased. Huh? DLCO. DLCO is what has happened?
Decrease.
DLCO, it has
Decrease.
decreased. Where you get a DLCO decreased?
Sir,
Where you get?
restrict.
So lung disease
Restricted.
Restrictive.
DLCO is decreased only in a patient with intrinsic lung diseases with a restrictive pattern. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this one is going out. DLCO is decreased in intrinsic lung diseases, whereas normal in extrinsic restrictive diseases. You table this, then you can use you will get download it from there. So fine. Now we'll analyze this. FVC is down, FEV1D is increased, whereas this one is decreased. What do you think is our disease now? I'll come to the choices later. So it looks like intrinsic restrictive lung disease.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Intrinsic restrictive lung disease it is. Okay? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Am I correct?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I will go to the choices. Actual question is on the second slide. Which of the following is a diagnosis? Interstitial lung disease, pulmonary artery hypertension, congestive cardiac failure, bronchiectasis.
First one.
So this looks okay for me. Interstitial
Interstitial.
lung disease. So what happens in pulmonary artery hypertension? DLCO, I'll come to that next. Huh? What about DLCO with the pulmonary artery hypertension? In pulmonary artery hypertension, what happens is the lung is actually damaged due to capillary blocks. Lung is not getting perfused because there are capillary problems and all that. There is decreased perfusion. So DLCO will be decreased only. Huh?
Yes,
Huh?
sir.
Yes, sir.
DLCO will decrease. Yeah, it will be. Congestive cardiac failure. What happens?
Same thing, sir. Decrease.
There is a lot of blood going into the lung. Huh? So DLCO may in fact be increased, but later on it will decrease when edema sets in.
Yes, sir.
Bronchiectasis is
Pulmonary edema.
lung disease. So DLCO is
Obstructive.
not. Huh? Okay. Huh? So the answer is interesting lung disease. Hmm? Hmm? In pulmonary artery, this one, the FEV1 ratio will not increase in pulmonary artery hypertension.
Yes, sir.
Hmm? The patient presents with decreased vital capacity and total lung capacity. Decreased lung capacity, vital capacity, and that means he's telling RV is also decreased. RV is also decreased, and FAC is also decreased. That means the ratio is less only, more or less or same. What is it now? So RV decreased means what do you think? So RV gets increased in obstructive.
So, yes, sir.
Correct. Sarcoidosis. Yeah. Smriti is telling
Sarcoidosis.
here sarcoidosis. It is interest restricted disease. So all are decrease in infiltrative lung disease except infiltrative lung disease means you get a restrictive lung disease. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
restrictive lung disease. So all are decreased. So vital capacity, what happens?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Decrease, sir.
alveolar arterial difference in PaO2. What happens? You tell me. What infiltrative lung diseases, vital capacity, what happens? It is decreased
Decrease, sir.
Yes, sir.
because
Decrease.
excluding RV. We are excluding RV. Huh? It
TLC
is.
is also decreased.
Huh? Alveolar
Total
total
lung
lung capacity is also
capacity.
decreased. Lung
TLC is
component
also
also
decreased.
decreased.
The
Huh?
answer will be 2.
What? Hello?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
arterial
Yeah,
difference
alveolar
and
Arterial
AA,
difference
PO2
is
AA
difference.
difference will be increased.
Yeah.
it is
So this
increased.
is alveolar arterial difference is what happens to this? It will be increased.
Increased.
Hmm?
Increased.
Because the residual lung disease arteries will not get enough oxygen. Because of that, it will get increased. I think I put the same thing here. Increase alveolar arterial difference. Okay. That can happen due to VQ mismatch or shunts. So asthma, COPD, interstitial lung diseases, alveolar diseases, pulmonary vasculature disease, vascular disease, we get VQ mismatch. These are increased. These are all the diseases where it is increased. Okay, either due to VQ mismatch or shunts. That means O2 will improve here, O2 will not improve. That's all. This difference is among these two. Okay, so in VQ mismatch, the alveolar arterial difference PaO2 will increase. So in infiltrative lung disease, you'll get this. Pure diffusion decreases all except DLCO. They're asking now. Emphysema. What about the
Obstructive.
Primary pulmonary hypertension.
Obstructive, sir.
CO
Emphysema
diffusion increases in all except that means where it get increases there.
Yes, sir.
DLCO where you get increase is asking. Diffusion of carbon monoxide. So what happens in emphysema? Alveolar septae. Alveolar septae are damaged. Unlike chronic bronchitis. In chronic bronchitis, TLCO is not affected. Okay. Whereas in emphysema, there is damage to the lung. So DLCO will be,
decreases.
huh? Yeah, DLCO is decreased here. Huh? Primary pulmonary hypertension, as I said, lung damage. Again, DLCO is decreased. Infiltrative lung diseases, it is decreased, lung damage.
Decrease.
Now with the alveolar hemorrhage, what do you expect? So there is some exception. This is a question of exception. So alveolar hemorrhage, the alveoli contains lot of RBCs. Okay, although there is no oxygenator of the blood, these RBCs will absorb the carbon monoxide and leave. So because of this RBC inside the alveoli, similar to good pressure syndrome, DLCO will be increased. Yeah, here you can see. This is a measure of diffusion of carbon dioxide, DLCO means. Most useful for patients with alveolar capillary bed, ILD and emphysema. Okay. DLCO
So,
increased in what?
so alveolar hemorrhage is not considered as a intrinsic disease of the lung, sir.
No, no, not like it is not. Now DLCO is not a classification meant to intrinsic, extrinsic like that. It is seen whether the oxygen, carbon dioxide is able to be inhaled and exhaled. That's all. It doesn't
Okay.
directly match it. It will have different, even obstructive diseases can have normal DLCO, whereas extrinsic alveolar diseases also can have normal. Whereas intrinsic restrictive diseases have decreased DLCO. Apart from this, the lungs diseases like alveolar hemorrhage and good pasture syndrome can have increased DLCO, although they are restricted diseases. As you want to call, can you consider? Not exactly, but they behave like that because the problem right inside the lung there. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
DLCO is normal in obstructive and extrinsic restrictive diseases. Correct.
Yes, sir.
Intrinsic restrictive diseases, DLCO is decreased. And
Decreased.
alveolar hemorrhage and good pasture syndrome. Although the problem is inside the lung, they behave like extrinsic, as we said, as far as DLCO is considered.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Same thing I put it here. Interstitial lung diseases, scarring and all that, it will decrease. Emphysema, damage is there, it will decrease. But not chronic bronchitis, there's no damage there. DLCO is not decreased there. Huh? Recurrent pulmonary embolism, lung damage, again decreased. DLCO. Now, alveolar hemorrhage, as good as in good pasture syndrome, hemoglobin RBC lumen binds with CO2 and is exhaled. Because of that, DLCO is increased. Huh? And CCF, DLCO, what happens initially? It is elevated due to large amount of blood in the lung. Later on, when edema decreases, again DLCO decreases. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Go through the slides once more, and if you got any doubts, we'll revise it tomorrow once more. Some confusions could be there.
Yes, sir.
So decrease in mid expiratory flow rate suggests what? Small airways, trachea, large, trachea both small, bronchi. Mid means when the expiration starts now, at the mid of the expiration, the small airways tend to choke. So that's a more here. It is a mid expiratory. Is this? Small airways is the correct answer. Otherwise called MMFR. This is the average expiratory flow rate at the middle, 50%. Also called as FEF, forced expiratory flow rate in between 25 to 75% of that. That is this much. Early sensitive. This is a very sensitive for obstructive lung diseases like bronchial asthma. Sometimes FEV1, FVC ratio may get delayed, but this one will pick up very fast. Okay, to get this result, it may initial stage it may not be there, but this is very sensitive. Mid expiratory flow rate. Okay,
Yes, sir.
very sensitive. More sensitive to what? Yeah, that ratio. Topani Pranali ratio is there. Remember that name. Difficult to pronounce. Hmm? Okay. Any doubts?
No,
I
sir.
think that there will be any. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. If you want to ask any, ask now. And tomorrow I will continue with the respiratory diseases only. Maybe obstructive and instructive respiratory lung diseases only. Some more questions. If you want to ask any doubts, you can ask. And write them and ask me tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you then.